Hey, everybody. And welcome to the most cataclysmic event of the week. Worlds collide. The initial difficulties we experienced were because we were trying to get EVE players to log online. You all know how that works. But here we are, we're ready to start. I like this setup, this looks really nice. This is the first time we actually try EVE on a big stage in front of an audience. I hope you guys will enjoy it. The stakes are high. We're fighting for glory and for honor and for the title of Best EVE Server in PvP. I hope you guys will join us in enjoying these matches because they decide your fate. If you guys lose, you'll be ridiculed for eternity. Forever. But if your server wins, you get a swanky, blinged out ship that can take you wherever you want to go. USA! So, I think we should introduce our teams to start out with. First, we have, from China, the players of City of Angels. They will be the red team, and we have a small video to intro them to the stage.
游戏 ID 斯特普尼克。
My name is 浪语秋沙。
我的游戏 ID 叫做苦娃。
大家好，我是风吹熊猫大。
我是狩猎之死。
Let's welcome Team Serenity to the stage.
Fair play. Fair play. That is how it goes. Our names are so
Unfortunately, their real names are too long for our character generator, so they will be using nicknames. And that's the one you will see them on screen. However, this is the home court, I think I'm correct in saying, for our next competitor, the other corner. In the blue corner, we have the champions of Tranquility, and let's introduce them.
I'm Neargun, and I fly with the Camel Empire.
I'm Walter Rubersmol and fly with the Camel Empire.
I'm Fabscat, I'm flying with the Camel Empire.
I'm Sturmgewehr and I fly with the Camel Empire.
I'm Schnada from Camel Empire.
Let's give a warm hand to the champions of Tranquility, Camel Empire! So, these two teams will fight in honorable EVE spaceship laser combat with missiles and drones and stuff. To make sure it's not too complex for you guys and to give you a step-by-step instructions of everything that's happening on screen, we have these four gentlemen here to commentate. You all know, let's start with a fellow CCP here, CCP Fossey.
I'm not going to clap for you two. I'm only clapping.
And here we have Last Talraven of Goonswarm. And with that James Dean daydream look in his eye, it's Sir Squeebles. And finally, a homegrown member of Camel Empire, Bob Shaftos. Now, It's obvious you guys are just as excited as us to get this underway. We're already a little bit behind schedule, which is always sad when happens, but it's a part of the program, so we scheduled it in. It happens every tournament. You guys like it, I know you do. But to start us out, I know that we will have Lars and Sir Squeeples here, commentating the first match.
We can do that. Good luck. Good luck. Yeah.
Leaving ample space at my desk for me.
We actually hope that this shows.
So, how are you guys all doing?
Oh, right. This is not right.
Right?
If you
In case you all didn't know the format of this, the teams submitted 7 setups of 5 ships beforehand.
yeah, I can
You were only able to see the ship types, not the fittings, and then the teams banned 2 of those setups from each other. The rest of the 5 setups are something that they have now in their corporation hangar, and nobody knows but them what they're bringing. They might not even know what they're bringing to the match. How do you start? What do you do? What do I select? What do I press? How do I warp? These are all questions that are probably running through their minds. This is a very, very intense situation. There are a lot of lights, a lot of semi-faces there that I can see. But I, in my infinite wisdom, forgot a way to be notified of when the match is ready.
Oh no, this is a dev account.
I know. I'm a talented individual.
We can get a peek to see when it's ready on the screen there, at least, or when it's getting close.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. They can read local. We'll have Laz and Squeeples just like yell at us.
Yeah, they can like I don't know, spam or whatever. Double your risk. So how are you? I was going to say stemmed in Icelandic, but what is the feeling for this competition? What do you think we'll see?
Oh, it's really, really hard to predict. I think we've seen some really interesting setups from both teams. The actual fits of them, we at CCP have seen, but obviously no players have seen that yet, except for the teams themselves. So it'll be very, I think a lot of people may be surprised by some of the fits being used by both teams. It's going to be really exciting, I think. I can't wait to see.
You have an intricate knowledge of what Camel are bringing.
Oh yes, it's going to be very, very interesting, especially since the Serenity mindset is so different than the TQ mindset. We have absolutely no idea what Serenity is going to be bringing, but we just brought our A game to TQ, and let's see how it goes.
It's really hard to have a spying game when you have a different server that's closed off and illegal for you to connect to.
Well, of course, none of you ever connect to it,
No,
right?
never.
That's illegal. You can't.
Can't do that.
It's not allowed.
Nope, they wouldn't even try. They're nice people.
No, exactly. You guys follow the law. And what we tell you.
Yes. But for anyone who's not familiar or haven't had a chance to see the ship yet, the prize for the entire server that wins this tournament is going to be a new luxury yacht. It's a gorgeous ship made by the Intaki Syndicate that is able to cloak, it's able to warp through bubbles. It doesn't have any strong combat ability, can't carry a lot of goods, but it is a ship for getting around in style. You're going to look good, and you're going to get from point A to point B.
That's what we want. That's what we want. We want getting around in style. But I am almost tempted to root for Serenity because I would like to see your guys' faces when you never get this ship. But I wanna do what everybody does when there's a sports event. Who here is going to be cheering for Team Tranquility, Camel Empire? Let me hear you. And we can't forget the other server, Team Serenity. Who here is going to lend them their hand? A room full of gentlemen and scholars and very, very well-mannered people. I like you. I like you a lot. I forgot to introduce myself, actually. Hi, I am the host of Alliance Tournament and Esports Extraordinaire, CCP Gargant. Nice to make your acquaintance. So guys, what do you see on your screen of magic? Does it look like this will be ready?
We do have one team on the field already. The Camel Empire guys have been ported into the system, so we're waiting on Serenity guys to come into the system with us.
Okay. So now you know, this is interesting. You guys have always had to just watch the analysis desk when there's a delay on the stream or whenever there's a tournament. Now you can watch the delay in real time and I can actually ask them, so how is it going? And they can say,
Terrible.
2 minutes maybe? And I'll go, right. So tell us a little bit, no, all right. I wanna make sure that everybody knows this is going to be a really informal competition. We're not like, I'm not even wearing a tie. It's that informal. I want us all to have fun here together tonight. That's the most important thing, I think. Fun. Yeah. Everybody knows the only F word is fun, right? That was a quote. That was a quote. I need to.
Yeah.
I need to cite my.
The beer comes in the pub crawl afterwards.
Yeah, there's a pub crawl afterwards. I assume you guys are all pumped and ready for pub crawl. It's usually a very fun. It's a very fun part, is what I meant to say. Yeah. I'm trying to keep all my 5-year-old puns away, but it's hard. But yeah, it's always a fun part of Fanfest. More fun than waiting for technical delays, that's for sure.
Yeah, how many people here were in the pub crawl last year with me and got stuck in the elevator? You know who you are. There you are. We'll try to have just as much fun this year.
That'll be very difficult.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about what we're expecting the teams to bring as their first setup. Do you guys remember the setups?
Yes.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
That was a trick question, we don't.
Yeah, not on the slightest. I've got it written down, though.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean, one thing that people should know, actually, about the format here. So each team can only bring their setups to one winning match. If you lose with a setup, you can keep bringing it. But if you've won with a setup, you can't bring it again in the series. So it's a best-of-5 series, which means that we are guaranteed to see diversity in setups. And that adds a lot more strategy to which setup you bring first. Because you may, like if you win with it, then you no longer have that available and the other team doesn't have to plan against it anymore.
Yeah, so all 2 teams are going to have at least 3 setups out of their pool to win. So it means potentially for the final match, they may only have 3 setups remaining. And the opposite team may have a hard counter to that. So it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, if a team can get a 3-0 or if it's going to be 3-2 or 3-1. See how it goes.
Yeah, this is also a format that's not very difficult to recreate on your own time, on your own little TQ server without any of these fancy equipment that we're having and some nice pink lights. So we've already seen BRJ do this for his corporation or like a.
Yep.
Yeah. So he adopted this format very quickly and had fun with it, and I hope the rest of you do the same. We do love our tournaments. So again, commentators, tell me what's going on.
Oh, us. Things are going well. We have the second team actually being ported in now. Nothing on field. We don't know what comps specifically are being used.
No, you can't say.
Nothing's
on the directional scanner yet.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. No. Trust me. I'm spamming it right now. I'm not very good at Eve, and I'm.
You can't see he's actually furiously clicking right now.
Yeah. No. That's all I'm doing.
Our expert opinion is that the directional scanner shows nothing.
Yeah.
Much like the logs.
Although I will say this planet looks pretty good for PI potentially.
I have no idea.
Now back to you.
The weather there looks a little blue. Perfect for PI, I agree.
Yeah, very nice.
Plasma
planets are great for PI. Yeah. The way that this tournament is set up, one of the things people should know is that the tournament is being run in the Proteus release. So the version of the server being used here is the same as we released in January, which means that we don't have any of the Svapel tactical destroyers. The only tactical destroyers in this is the Confessor. Both teams have setups with the Confessor.
Yes.
Bob, what do you think about that ship in this kind of format? I mean, you don't have to give anything away.
Oh, obviously, the Confessor is obviously a very strong ship in the format. I would say it's pointed similar to about, a Tech 1 cruiser, and it's similar to a Tech 1 cruiser in power, but it's got so much flexibility. It's got so much speed. It potentially be a sniping ship. It could be a brawling ship. It can be a lot of stuff.
Yep.
When you see that Confessor in the comp list, you have absolutely no idea what it's going to be used for.
Yeah, we put a lot of thought into trying to figure out what point level we should put the ship at. And depending on how well they work out here, we may adjust it for future tournaments and see how that goes from there.
It's a good place for the Confessor. I think if you pointed it slightly more, if you pointed 7 or 8, then it might be a bit too expensive and a bit less attractive, say, compared to like a Vexor or a Rupture or an Orman or something like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, one of the great things about these tactical destroyers for this kind of format, when you have pilots at this level, they can really take advantage of the stance switching, and you get a kind of an extra level of tactics from that, and it allows kind of the good pilots to really show off that skill.
Oh yeah, the amount of skill training we had to do for the Confessors and the Camel Empire team for this tournament was absolutely crazy. I mean, they're so flexible. You need to know when to switch modes, because obviously if you switch modes, you're locked out for the other mode for another 10 seconds. So you need to know when to switch modes, and you know the correct circumstances for that. If you do it at the wrong time, you could cost your team the match, because they are still very flimsy ships. They still are destroyers. They just have those Tech 2 resists that make them slightly better. But again, it's their flexibility that's going to lead to their survival or not.
One of the other big choices we had to make when we were deciding the rules for this tournament is what to do about drone ships, which are very strong in this kind of format with a limited size arena. And so we actually decided to only allow Tech 1 drones. How do you think that's going to be affecting people's choices of setups?
Well, obviously, if people have watched Alliance Tournament 12, drone meta basically ruled the whole thing. You've got Tech 2 drones, Tech 2 heavy drones, Geckos, and Sentries basically dominating basically the last 2 Alliance tournaments. Tech 1 drones evened the playing field a little bit and did allow the other weapon systems, lasers, railguns, missile launchers, it did allow them to be a bit better in a tournament format and just not have drones dominating all the time.
Yeah, we see a lot of missile ships on both sides in the setups that are chosen, and I think that makes a lot of sense. With drones a little bit less powerful, it's a weapon system that's less vulnerable to E-War. It's pretty easy to get damage applied with it, and makes for some really good kiting setups.
See? Who needs an in here when you have a person? So we are ready.
There we go.
With what he said.
First match underway.
So despite the love you're giving our pretty faces, we're going to go onto spaceships. Are you ready for the first match of Worlds Collide? Go!
Nope.
We'll see. They're not on the field yet.
They're not on the field yet. So while we are ready, we're willing, and I'm not going to say that word. We're anticipating it greatly.
Okay.
The technology just doesn't. The computer says no.
No,
The computer just says no.
One thing that I actually just noticed looking over the screen that you guys are going to be seeing once we switch to the camera client, this is the first tournament we've run since the appearance of Caroline Starr in Jove Space, and the location where we run tournaments is actually in Jove Space. So there is a very, very large Caroline Starr nebula visible there. I think that's really cool to be able to see it up that. That's closer than any player can actually see it normally.
Oh, ships are starting to pop up now.
Yeah, I see moving trails, I see ship trails. This is exciting stuff.
Yeah. There we go.
But yes, so I think this will function as a good look into how actual Alliance tournament production works. When somebody loots something and gets transferred out of the system at the same time and breaks a node, this is what happens. We sit here, we blather for an hour about things that are very interesting, but you're quick to lose.
Oh, I see a ship that's making me excited on screen. The best thing is I know how that chip is, I know how like these setups. Oh, this. Oh.
So I would like to change CCP Fossy's title to Chief Teaser.
Oh, so good.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right.
Over to the commentators.
Yes.
All right.
We're not on yet.
So, is my mic working?
Yeah, we're good. I
All
think
right,
we're good.
excellent. So I'm Sir Squeebles, this is Laz. This is obviously the first match in the best of 5. Team Serenity has fielded 2 Fleet Typhoons, Ares, Double Merlin, and
Team TQ has responded with 2 Navitas, 2 Ishtars, and an EOS.
And they sound like they're already pretty excited about what's happening here. Fleet Typhoons are drifting out. They're probably going to be cruise fit. They can apply damage from huge range, and they are booking it pretty quickly right now, but there are damps on those, probably from the mid slots of those Ishtars, so they're going to have a really hard time getting missile damage down.
Yeah, a lot of the Serenity team setups did come across as kiting setups. So you're going to see a lot of damps, a lot of MWDs in range trying to be kept on the other sides.
And really, no appreciable damage coming across, but again, those Fleet Typhoons are damped, and that's bad news. So they're going to have to rush in. They do have a utility high slot, which in all likelihood, they will have a newt, so they're probably going to get in and try and pressure. Maybe the EOS shut off the links that EOS has. It's not going anywhere, although that first Merlin is now painted. That is the Merlin of Tanis, and he took a little bit of damage. Looks like he's pulling range. He's going 2,500, so he's not in any trouble yet. Oh, well, he's in a little trouble now.
And they have no logistics, so this is going down pretty quickly.
Go. Still going, still holding. He's overheating, and he's down.
Yes, he's down. First blood of Worlds Collide, guys.
All right, well, if we take nothing else home for TQ, we have that to live on. So the other Merlin is drifting around. He doesn't want to get anywhere close to those bouncers, which is, I believe, what they have out. Pretty much wherever that painter goes onto Team Serenity, it's going to be really difficult for them to stay alive. The Ishtar nerfs are coming, but they're not strong enough yet. And it's
we actually have heavy drones, Praetors. We do have a set of Praetors from the Ishtars.
They're called Team
Typhoons are playing dishes. A lot of damage coming in on the Ishtar of Eshnala.
Yeah, and he's holding pretty well for now, but it is going.
This is going to be huge. The small revs on the Navitas are not able to keep him up. The first Ishtar is in structure. He's going to go down.
Yeah,
he's dead. First down for Team Serenity. That is a big blow. The first DPS ship down for the TQ team.
Yeah, that was not a good trade. Those two Merlins are really important because those two Merlins have to tackle one of the Ishtars so that the Fleet Typhoons can get in damage range. Those damps are still doing work, but assuming the damps are coming off the Ishtar, they now have half the damps they did before. So that's going to be rough. I assume the Navitas is the one painting. We'll try and check and confirm that. But
yeah, they're going to try to get this Ares off the field. The Interceptor is going to have the point range bonus, and it's going to try to get in and get tackle on these Ishtars, slow them down, let these Typhoons get close enough to apply damage.
Honestly, I'm concerned for Team TQ because if that other Ishtar goes down, and EOS does pretty good damage, but not enough to kill these Fleet Typhoons. So Serenity needs to commit right now. They need to try and get in. That Ares has to be brave, which brave and probably dead shortly thereafter, but he has got to get tackle, and he's got to let these Fleet Typhoons get in on either the Ishtar or the EOS as soon as possible.
And he really just needs the whole point long enough for those newts to get into effect. And once the newts from the Typhoons get onto these targets,
I think they have enough damage even without the newts, honestly. If I were the EOS or the Ishtar pilot, I would be sweating profusely right now. Thankfully, I'm not. So again, no real action going on. The damps coming off of the TQ team are really effective. If they didn't have that E-War in the mid slots, this would probably be a very different match. You saw how quick that first Ishtar went down. So
well, and the Typhoons are only doing 170 MS right now, where you do have the Ares going about 4K. So he can keep up with any of the ships on the TQ team with that Ares.
And it's kind of curious. Okay, so first Fleet Typhoon of Stepnik, now taking damage. It's not going to take long for him to go down. A flight of heavies off of an EOS and an Ishtar, that's a lot of damage. He is also presumably a shield tank for max DPS. I could be wrong about that, but I bet when his shield disappears, so will the rest of him. And probably their hopes of winning the first match. We'll see how that goes. So he's now dipping into armor.
It's not going down as quickly as I thought it would. As we see a huge chunk is just immediately evaporated off of that ship. They did do really well getting that first
and a web
Ishtar
now
down.
on the Ares. So not only is this Fleet Typhoon going to die, but that Ares is going to go shortly thereafter. It looks, so there's a scram notification on the Ares. He's going to go down. This Fleet Typhoon is going down really without being able to return any damage on the Team TQ. So
yeah, the fast lock time of the cruiser is able to use those mid slots on the Ishtars and apply damps very early in the match on these battleships with a larger 6 size, which means a faster lock time. Really gave them a huge advantage from the start of the fight.
So there's a nice shot of the EOS who's not too nervous. He's just kind of zipping around waiting for this Fleet Typhoon to die, at which point he'll be a little bit happier. There is still an immense amount of damage in those Fleet Typhoons, though. If they get within range of that Ishtar will pop before this first Fleet Typhoon does. And this Ares is now going super, super low.
They have swapped off the Fleet Typhoon, swap all their drones onto the Ares now that tackle is applied. You do see a point on the Navitas, but he's going to be most likely afterburner fit and going to ignore the damage.
As soon as that Ares dies, the ability of the Fleet Typhoons to get in proper DPS range on the TQ team.
And he's down.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So they already had a tough road. I think that Ares pilot finally realized there was no option. He was going to have to dive in for the tackle. So it's unfortunate to be that guy, but it's a lose-lose in that situation. However, the EOS is taking shield damage. I don't think it's going to be concerning as the Fleet Typhoon of Stepnik is now really going down in fantastic fashion.
Yeah, we're not really seeing much reps being pulled back here. Just the sheer amount of damage from the Praetors. And with the Praetors being a mobile platform, they're able to assign and just pull range. They're able to use these damage.
They have actually switched to Berserkers. So they drop the Praetors, they abandon those, they drop Berserkers. Right. That's what's doing all this damage. Unless these Navatos pilots start repping the enemy, which has happened many times in tournaments before, I think Team Serenity is probably going to lose this first match in the best of 5, which is a rough way to start.
Yeah, so it looks like his shield booster is helping him hold on in deep structure, but this EOS is melting pretty quickly.
I'm trying not to shout at the EOS pilot to stay alive.
Well, and this EOS might go down before the Fleet Typhoon with the amount of damage being applied to it.
It is amazing how well this Fleet Typhoon is tanked, actually. I have no idea. It seems like he was armor tanked, and then it seems like he's structure tanked. He's only going 600 MS. It's not going well. So if they lose the EOS before this Fleet Typhoon goes down, it's going to potentially be to a points game, right? So we'll have 14 on the Ishtar. We'll have a total of 18 left for Team TQ.
The damps did just fall off for a second, and now only one of the Fleet Typhoons is being damped at the moment, so they can apply DPS a little bit more freely now.
Well, those Fleet Typhoons are faction battleships, so that's 19 points, right? That's right. The print is smaller down here, I do apologize. 19 points, so essentially, if they trade the Fleet Typhoon for the EOS, Serenity is going to take it by a 1-point margin if he can survive until the end of the match.
Right. So the Fleet Typhoon is in half structure, the EOS is now in structure, he's more in structure, he's almost there, guys. He's down, the EOS is down, guys. Wow. This is such a tight match, guys. He is still deep structure on the Typhoon. So it's really come down to this Fleet Typhoon to be able to pull some shields back so they can keep the DPS on the field.
I'm changing my bet to Serenity now. Oh my God.
As Navatos quickly follows.
That's beautiful. So at this point, Serenity, all they have to do is keep that one Typhoon alive. It's over. That Ishtar cannot sink that Fleet Typhoon. That was a comeback. Okay, so if everything keeps going as it is, you're going to end up with the one Fleet Typhoon who may or may not be able to chase down that Ishtar. Even if he does, he probably doesn't have a tackle module. So that Ishtar will probably survive just so that guy can tell the other 4 to stop dying in the next match. But they might even save both these Fleet Typhoons. The damage application has been so poor, and it seems like he has so many bulkheads on that Fleet Typhoon that they just can't win. That's pretty incredible. But again, the damp pressure is now down, so at least one of these Fleet Typhoons will be able to apply at all times.
I'm so excited when I saw the food.
The Ishtar has pulled damps off of the dying Typhoon and put it onto the full health Typhoon, hoping to finish this off pretty quickly.
Yeah. So this Ishtar might score a small victory in taking down the second Fleet Typhoon, although it doesn't look that way. But if he does, again, round of applause. But at this point, it is going to be very, very, very difficult, next to impossible for Tranquility to come back.
I was really worried coming into this match because the Navatos is a small repair frigate, and it does have a tiny sig radius. And here comes the damage being applied to the Ishtar.
This is not looking good. All right, so if this happens, I'm making an account on Serenity as soon as possible so I can start practicing, because this was close, but they stayed with it. I mean, that was some commitment, because they looked really bleak for a minute, and this Ishtar is about to go into structure, and I'm afraid he's not going to make it out of this match.
He already has the new to fly, which means he's within 30K of this Typhoon, and then you see him fly past the Ishtar. This is pretty much the end of the show for this Ishtar.
And here we're going to see CCP's new visual effect for losing all hope, and that's going to come up here in the next minute.
Well played.
So if you watch when he explodes, there's a tiny frowny face right in the middle. That's awesome. Serenity!
So the first match does go to Serenity, guys. First match, true Team Serenity and City of Angels, guys. Congratulations.
All right, so with that, congratulations to Serenity. Remember, this is a best of 5. Don't lose hope yet. We're going to send it back to the desk while I cry a little bit inside. Have fun.
Wow. So,
Hull tanked Fleet Typhoons.
It's a lot harder to commentate when everyone's yelling in your ear.
So,
yeah, they're incredible.
Who saw that coming? Didn't see that coming.
So when worlds collide, it's a very slow process, but there's a lot of explosions, obviously. And what we saw here was a very interesting. It was a very interesting exercise in reverse psychology, because we both switched the colors of the teams according to the lights, and then we had a team A and a team B, but you figured it out because you're smart people. So in case you missed it, Serenity is up 1-0. There are a lot of Eve batters that are rich right now.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure there's been a lot of money just changed hands on this match. And it's just a legitimately excellent match. We had seen these setups for the teams beforehand. We can find to talk about the Typhoon setup a little bit because of the fact that it can't be brought again. Yeah, the whole tanked fleet Typhoons, really ballsy move, something that I was really excited to see. It gives them a lot of mobility. In a lot of ways, it replaces what would have been a shield tank in the past, but does it with a huge hit point buffer. And I think it worked out really well.
Yeah, the Camel team was trying to kite with Ishtars and heavy drones, it looks like, but it just looks like the drones either got smart bombed off or just weren't able to apply enough damage. I mean, the hull tank Typhoon fleet issue, it must have a crazy amount of structure hit points. And chewing through those and then chewing through the tackle, it must have been too much. They traded an Ishtar for basically the 3 tackle frigates in the Serenity team sides. And, you know, after that Ishtar died, they just didn't have enough damage to kill fleet Typhoons in time.
It's an interesting thing that even though the Serenity team, the City of Angel guys, are sort of on an away turf, because this is honestly TQ's home crowd, I would say, we nerfed the drone meta in tournaments pretty hard, so I guess teams are on equal grounding. I would say that.
Yeah, I mean, the Ishtars, I think, are still a strong ship for this kind of tournament. We probably would be seeing more of them if people were allowed to bring the same ship more than once, or in more than one setup. But of course, Camel Empire can bring the Ishtar setup back because they lost with it, but there's only that one setup they have with it. The Tech 1 drones, though, do make it a lot more vulnerable. It's something that these ships probably would have burned through that Typhoon quite a lot. Well, they would have finished it off and gotten half the DPS off the field if they'd been able to do the extra damage.
Yeah, Tech 1 drones are also extremely vulnerable to smart bombs and to very low hit points in general. And since there's no faction drones in the tournament either, you don't have the Gecko. The Gecko is frankly what makes a lot of the drone ships really, really, really good in the tournament setting. And without those Geckos, well, you know, you can just find yourself losing to Typhoon fleet issues.
I have to say, Serenity submitted a Hila, Gila, Gaila, Phyla, whatever setup, and I'm really sad that it was banned, because then I can't mispronounce Gila for the entire session.
I'm sure back in Alien is sitting at his home right now going, Hila, Hila, Hila.
No, I won't say that for you back. I'm sorry. I wish you were here. You could shut me up yourself. No, you couldn't. That was a lie. Yeah. So, our friends in Eve TV, we're going to talk about Eve PvP with prolific Eve PvPers and say interesting stuff for us to listen to, so you don't have to listen to our beautiful voices all the time.
Hello. Hey. Yeah. Garden Rice on the stage. How about that? That was some fun. I told you were in trouble, TQ. I told you.
Can you guys hear? I don't know if it works. All right, here we go. This is why I know you all watch my Twitter religiously. This is why I said I was rooting for Serenity when they submitted this setup. Whole tanked fleet Foons with rapid heavy launchers is like a team after my heart, and killing Ishtars with them, like so amazing.
But we're going to bring a guest on stage. Sart, come on. Sart Kate, ladies and gentlemen. Popular streamer. How have you thought about this?
This is amazing. This is just a dream of mine. Whole tanks plus MJDs. You see that MJD at the end there? Getting white so that Fleet Typhoon did not die. How about that? How about them apples? Fantastic.
Fantastic. So you stream a lot to the Eve community. You know, you've been doing it for a while now. Do you think streaming in Eve Online is a growing phenomenon?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing a lot more streams coming into play. We're seeing a lot more people discovering streams. It's probably the biggest thing, our biggest market right now for streamers is you guys. And the biggest thing is knowing that we're actually out there as a media format for you guys.
I got a question. So when the setups got listed, there was some, you know, giggling about them. And one of the big points was there's no command ships, right? Like on any of the Serenity setups. What do you think about that? And after this match, has that opinion changed at all?
Well, this is an entire, my tournament background is entirely vested into the New Eden Open 2. Anyone see that? Anyone out there? So you heard we heard in the tournament. We placed third there, and we did something very similar to the Fleet Command ship, the Fleet Typhoons comp. And the lack of command ships is what I think really cost us going further into that tournament. So it's really cool to see that place further in. It's really impressive.
All right, one more, and I would actually be curious what the guys at the desk think about this one as well, but do you think, because it's within the rules now, if I'm not mistaken, Camel can bring Ishtars again, is that right?
Yes.
So would you do that? Would you just stick with them? Like, do you think this is their best setup, or do you think they'll switch it up now?
I was actually just talking to Guard about this one. While it may be one of their stronger comps, so when you're looking at a tournament like this, you pretty much want to bring your A game right at the start, because you just want to build on that. You want to build on that momentum. And when you just have your A game get beat, it's a huge confident loss. Even if you know it's your strongest comp, it's a huge confident loss. So I don't know. You probably have the Camel Empire team right now really rethinking their game plan. So I think it's maybe a risk, but we'll see. Yeah.
It's a bit of psychological warfare right there.
I was just going to say, I love talking about the psychology of, like, this guy. Like,
well, while we all may come from different places, we all speak the international language of spaceships. So we're going to take off and talk about some other stuff and bring it back to the analyst desk in preparation for the next match and see how that goes. See you later.
That was me catching the pass. Did you get it? So I'm trying my hardest to keep away the puns. I'm trying. Yeah. So what I want to hear now is some of you might have ironically been cheering for Serenity, but now they're up 1. This is a best of 5 series. So if Serenity wins 2 more matches, no shiny ships for you, and we get to make fun of you for the rest of your days.
On the other hand, it's actually really hard not to cheer for the team that brings the rapid heavy launcher hull tanked fleet foons. That is just incredibly awesome.
That is true. In all sports, you should always cheer for the better team.
In all sports, any sport, always cheer for the hull tank team.
Oh, I like that one. The honor tanked team. So now that Serenity cannot bring this setup again, do you think that Camel will try to bring the Ishtar setup again, or will we see something else?
I think you'll see something else. I think Camel needs to bring their A game now. They're 1 down. They might have thought this was a bit easier than they thought it was going to be. They might have been a bit overconfident. They might have led to perhaps a weaker comp. And now they're going to have to bring the A game. They're going to have to get their confidence back. They're going to have to get morale back, and they're going to have to start taking wins if they're going to win this tournament.
I think, though, one of the things that is easy to underestimate, both of these 2 teams are really, really experienced PvPers. Yeah. They have the tournament experience. They know what they're doing. They know that they are the best tournament PvPers on their respective servers. I think it'll probably take more than 1 loss to shake the confidence of either of these teams. These are guys that have a lot of confidence and have earned that confidence.
But with that, I would like to kick you guys off the stage and bring Laz and Squeebles back to it. I'm bored of you. Get out. Yeah? I am the boss. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Glad to be back.
I feel so small.
Yeah.
Is it better?
I appreciate it.
So, I want to hear your opinions. Hull tanked fleet foons.
I didn't expect it at all. Squeebles and I was commentating it, and we went into it thinking either ASBs or maybe a single rep, and I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, and we did zoom in on the launchers, and we attempted to, but my shaky camera work obfuscated the point that those were rapid heavies. So we said, it might be rapid heavies, but we didn't get enough time. I thought they were crews to begin with. In either instance, damps are gonna kill you. Right. Speaking from experience, we've worked with comps that run on fleet foons, and they seem awesome. So much damage that Guard really would love those ships. But the problem is if you can't get in range, or if you have any electronic warfare disrupting you, if you can target to 30, you can't kill somebody who's at 50. Right. So it was really risky, and the fact that the frigates for Serenity took so much heat early, they were well piloted, but there's only so much you can do.
Well,
they needed those, though.
That first Ishtar getting off the field super early like that I think that's what won them the match.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's a lot of damage. And one of the things for their team that you got to question, talking about do you bring Ishtars again, is Ishtars is not like an F1 hull. It's drone management. It's do you abandon, do you reconnect, should we drop heavy, should we drop sentries? And when a team is moving like they were moving, especially with the frigates, it's so hard to tell what drones you should have out. And by the time you make that call, you might have been wasting DPS for 30 seconds. So.
And they made that call in the middle of the match because they start out with Praetors, which are going to be effective against shields. They're going to have good tracking. Then as soon as they're through the shields of that Typhoon, they immediately abandoned them and launched the Berserkers to cut through the armor.
Yeah.
But being that they're hull tanks, they're going to have a 60% resist across the board because of the suitcase, the damage control, and you can't nuke that out. It's got one capacitor to activate that module, and like it's always going to be on. So you have a flat 60% across all that mass of hull HP.
And speaking of psychological warfare, to bring hull tank into a tournament setting, if you're not paying attention to the specific numbers of your damage notifications, there's some guy on your team who's like, guys, we have this. We have this in the bag. He's through armor. Shut up. It's ours. Like, we're going to take home the ships. Everybody's going to buy us beers after the event. We're good. Then you hit structure and you're like, you say things I shouldn't say into a microphone in front of but then you're committed. You know, you've put all this time in and you maybe not realize that you weren't applying well and you thought a ship was about to go down when in fact, meet my tank. I have like 6 bulkheads on this thing. Good luck.
I would say that bringing a setup like this in the first match of a tournament, first live tournament on stage, actually requires something that I can't really say in a PG-13 stream, but it's a part of your body that's made out of steel and associated with courage.
Your heart? Yes.
I'm like an artist.
Well, and it is kind of interesting because I feel like a lot of people think the meta has developed differently on both servers, and to that end, they're right. But to think that because Serenity is a little bit younger and because they can throw Titans around, like it's like, oh, you need a Titan? Have a Titan. That's sort of, they think that changes the mentality of PvP, and what they just proved is they've gone through this tournament. A tournament setting as rigorous as anything TQ does.
Yeah, they're
not joking around. So a lot of people applauded because they're like, oh, this is exciting. And then a lot less people might applaud this time because they're like, this is not exciting, this is terrifying. And I really want that fancy ship to go from Amar to Jita every now and then. I'm going to feel bad if I don't have it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of surprised people right now. I know, I'm completely shocked. As soon as I saw the Typhoon hit hull and just sit there, I was like, what's going on? Is it shield boost, like a really, really effective shield booster? I mean,
and it's the 5v5 meta as well. Like, Bob is no stranger to theory crafting. Neither are a lot of the people in the audience who have either participated in a tournament or made a suggestion, like me, oftentimes bad, but you've made a suggestion, you thought it through. To put something like Ewar on the mid slots of the Navitas. So I think one of the Navitas had a painter. I think one of the other Navitas had a damp on it. Right. And so even that one damp on a Navitas has no bonuses, but still, if you come up against Fleet Foons, and it seemed like they might have expected it, honestly, you would think that'd be good. And then when that Navitas went down and that damp dropped, I was like, I probably should have thought about that beforehand. Oh man, and the EOS. The speed that the EOS went down, that's where you're like, are you sure that those are Fleet Typhoons? And then the EOS is half armor, you're like, pretty sure those are Fleet Typhoons. So yeah, it's awesome. And it's really cool to see that, I feel like the gameplay, if you just have an account on Serenity or on TQ, the gameplay might be different and the IS values might be different, but when it comes to tournament settings, everybody is really sweaty and super nervous, and they really theory craft. They end up with sort of similar things.
Yeah, it bears mention that Serenity is now playing on Proteus.
Right.
So, and have been for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I believe. So they are catching up to us very fast. While they have the usual way it has been usually Serenity is maybe 2 expansions behind. And it's often been a joke that they are receiving the short end of the stick by I don't know, some sort of evilness from us, but that's not the point. And now they've caught up. And
some would say they've done more than caught up based on that first match.
They took the first game.
Yeah, they did. And the thing was, you know, when you're commentating, especially in a match with 2 teams with this much experience, it's probably not good to say, well, this match is like over. Right. I said it 4 different times, and it was for a different team every time. So I don't know. I feel bad about that. But I really did think that we had it. And by we, I mean, I think TQ had it as an impartial commentator.
This analysis desk is so full of impartiality. There's not even a pun for it. But I do know, like I said earlier, that there are people that want Serenity to win just to see what will happen. But CCP Rise, bro, I know you're cheering for Serenity. I know you're laughing with glee at the thought of TQ actually losing. And it seems that there's hushed severity that has sort of swept over the room and probably the internet.
Yeah,
Hello, internet.
So the first stage of losing is silence. And then once you really start losing, it gets very loud, of a different sort. So,
that's what we want. We want you guys to be loud. You're allowed to say stuff.
When does the crying
That
come in?
one guy gets it. Nobody else in the audience. The oi guy. You're doing it right, sir. Keep up what you do. But yeah, it is strange. Like, actually, as Serenity started turning it, that's a sign that it's a PvP tournament, and no matter like how much you want that ship, and I want that ship, but that you like the PvP. I mean, that turn was as close as anything that I got to do at the Alliance tournament this past year. You get to a point where it's like it's so close that you don't really know what to say. You just kind of want to stand there like.
Well, and that's the type of fights that EVE players love. They want a close fight. They want a bloody brawl. And if they have a blowout like in a tournament like this, then they're not going to be happy. They want to see things blow up, right?
Yeah.
There's no mediocrity in this room.
Yeah. No. But my corpse here. Let's keep in mind. So, but yeah, it is really cool, and it is, as Guard said, in a very cheesy sort of gift card fashion. It is the universal language of spaceships, and I think he does that exact head tilt when he says it. But that it is true. I mean, you want to see an exciting match, and even those people who have participated in the tournaments or intend to participate in the tournaments, yes, your team goes up there and there's like an awkward hush over the comms, and you're really nervous. But at the end of the day, if it's a good fight, if you lose by a close margin, even if you lose by a big margin, but there was a singular decision that you made, and you can go back and say like, okay, so maybe bringing that battle Iteron wasn't as funny as we thought. Like it's still a learning process, and it's still fun to see. Especially if you're not piloting in the match. It's fun to see your team die every now and then, just because otherwise it would be pretty unexciting.
Well, we've got 2 more matches at least to be able to look at that.
Let's say 3. Let's say we have at least 3 more matches. I refuse to say that they will not.
Well, that's
take
why I said
one.
at least 2, but
at least 2 is still pessimistic. I don't think you want us to win. I think that's what that comes down to. So his loyalty is to be questioned at all times from
goons.
I'm gonna get jumped on the on the pub crawl. I can feel it now.
Yeah. So yeah, the pub crawl is going to be more of a mournful procession of unhappy people if we don't take this. Like, I hope everybody brought a black suit so you can make it like a normal funeral sort of event.
We are not encouraging people to go out and get recklessly wasted. Not in any way.
No.
But you have to consider the best way to deal with both grief and happiness.
Brennivin?
Pub crawl. Brennivin.
Oh, sorry, I got this.
Oh, yeah.
We should all get some Brennivin.
Like now?
No. We're professionals.
Sorry, no. I didn't mean to say. That's the loudest they've been since the middle of that last match. But,
I can see that both of the teams are in system right now, so something might be happening.
Some of them back and forth a bit to get everything set up, but they're now back in system, and they've been instructed to warp to the arena, so we are just a couple moments away from starting.
All right.
Again, you're watching this live. Imagine that. Everything exposed. These are the usual interactions that happen during Alliance tournament when you've seen us yammer on about the same setup and the same fight for 15 times, taking over 40 minutes.
Or the 7th time you heard the rude sandstorm. That's what's happening.
The one time where the match came up about CCP Rise's spider catch was we got a little off topic, but the rest of the time we were pretty on point. I feel like it was most of the matches they had the one Atron that were flying around for like 5 minutes. What are you going to fill that with?
No, that's when matches are going on. I'm talking about when you're looking at this sleek, black, nice desk.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know it actually
I thought you
changes
weren't allowed
color?
to change the color. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, so we've caught him. So this is how you fight goons.
I like pretty colors. It's off now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Sorry.
All right, so I'm kind of curious. It's hard to pin down what comps you're going to bring, especially Serenity, because you see what they've put together. Obviously, it's strong. You don't look at it like all Atrons, or is that? But the comps are good. They do have a variety. I mean, they've got a Widow comp, which a lot of people have talked about.
I'm really interested in that one. Like,
yeah, I don't think anybody is not interested.
Like, my favorite setup was banned, the double Vigilant Enyo. I really wanted to see that because blasters are the best weapons in the game.
Yeah.
Yes. See?
Yes. There was even a Galenti RP team that during the Alliance tournament tried it. It didn't go well, but they did it, and that was brave in and of itself.
That's what counts.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't have the backbone for it. We tried to plan it out.
So I can see that we have people on the field as soon as the commentators acknowledge that everything seems to be going okay.
Yes, they just landed. We're going to give them another moment, but yeah, we should be.
Then I want to do this again. So, TQ is down 1. Serenity won the last match. I want a real honest cheer. Who would like to see the match going equal? TQ taking it. Let me hear you. All the irony aside, you want your team to win. We still have the away team from Serenity. They've surprised us. Do we want them to surprise us again? Let me hear you. I would say we're about 50-50. That's awesome. I would say so. While we wait for my whisperer to come and tell me things, I would like to see a confessor.
Well, wait, but were they released in Proteus?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I heard you all talking about what the patch they were on did.
Oh, no, it didn't have the
a confessor. A confessor is a super strong choice. Obviously, it's easily supported by Logi. These are points that you guys, I think, heard in passing earlier, but it would be awesome. The range is fantastic. They can kill off frigates. And in a 5v5 match, we're going to see a lot of comps, as you saw from the list, actually, that are top-heavy. So.
By that, we're going to the field.
Excellent.
Let's hear it!
All right, everyone. There you go. We got to start a little bit late. But our matchup is the Serenity team in their signable double Cerberus carries Malediction setup versus the Tranquility team in the same setup as before, Ishtars again. And already we have damage applied to the Cerberus of Ask for the Serenity team. But he's tanking at the moment.
Yeah, all those Cerbs are on, all those heavy drones are on Ask at the moment. But yeah, he is going into armor now. He is taking lots and lots of damage from those drones. The Ishtar team does appear to be kiting effectively at the moment. Not a lot of damage applied to the Camel team yet.
At the moment, there is no significant damage applied to the Camel team. We're not even seeing damps from that carries. Looks like the carries has been successfully counter-damped by the damps of the Camel Empire Tranquility team. And that Cerberus is managing to stay alive very effectively, though. But they need to, there you go, we have damage on the Navitas, damage on the first Navitas of Strum.
Yeah, the Navitas is taking small chunks of damage now. That Cerb does look like he's going to go into ASB reload soon, though. It doesn't look like he's going to be long. That Navitas seems to be tanking fairly well, though.
Yeah, Navitas is getting reps from his partner. That's one of the great things about these Logi frigates, is they can rep each other.
Cerberus going into structure now. It doesn't look like it's going to last much longer. ASB
we
must
found
be out.
a non-structure tanked Serenity ship.
There we go. Still not that much damage being applied to the Team Tranquility team. The Cerb is down. First blood to Camel.
There we go. We already have a target painter applied to the Sinoball of Jet. It looks like the Sinoball may be the next primary for Tranquility. Yeah. We'll see the damage starting to apply on him any moment now once the drones catch up. And still very little damage being applied by the Serenity team here. They're having a hard time hitting those very small, fast Navitises.
Yeah, most of those drones going towards Bitter and the Cerberus now and the Serenity side, whereas some of the drones are going for the carries as well. On the Team Serenity side. Still not much damage being applied to the Team Tranquility team at the moment. The Team Tranquility team's basically standing off the Team Serenity team at the moment and just letting the drones do all the work. Not much going on apart from that.
This is an incredible amount of confidence to bring the same setup that you just lost with, believing that it's going to be strong enough to take on whatever is going to come against it. And it looks like it's paying off here. We have a very strong start for Tranquility.
And it does look like the carries on the Team Serenity team has scrambled one of the Navitases. And that Cerb is down. That's most of the damage gone for Yeah. Oh, Malediction took a huge chunk of damage there. Into half armor straight away. Structure. And it looks like this is going to be, this is looking good for Team Tranquility here.
There you go. And now we have nothing but a Sinoball and carries left on the field for the Serenity team. The Sinoball taking damage quite quickly. And this is, again, a very, very strong match for the Tranquility team. This will mean that with this victory, the Tranquility team will not be able to bring this Ishtar setup again.
Yeah, so Typhoons and Ishtars will be banned, assuming that Zero Signable doesn't, solo the entire team,
Yes.
Archie Signable is obviously being very OB.
It'd be a very, very tough ask. He isn't actually shield boosting as far as I can tell.
Oh, yeah. Straight into armor, structure, gone.
There we go, there. And now we have only the carries left.
Yeah.
Already tackled.
Oh, carry's already gone. There we go, that's that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are all tied up.
1-1.
That is an incredibly confident move, like I just said, for the Camel Empire guys. Bringing the same setup, getting a win, dusting themselves off, and now we're back on even footing, and it'll be great to see what these teams bring next.
Yeah, they've lost nothing in the meta game because they brought the same setup twice. So Team Serenity still, both teams basically still have 4 comps that neither team has seen. Or, well, Team Serenity now is, it's still 4 comps to choose from overall, though.
Yeah, both teams, they're going to have a lot of surprises still up their sleeve. Yep. So we are going to now let those teams get back to picking their next setup and send you back to the analysis desk.
Doing it live.
And we wait, and now we have a match!
Yes. 1-1.
TQ have shown that they're not just here to lose. That's good. You don't compete in a tournament and just lose. That's bad. You know all about that, don't you?
Wow.
We have experience.
You have experience. I remember all that experience.
And a whole lot of patience and a lot of tears.
Tears are the fuel for the cogs of TQ. But I would like to say, the compositions themselves, the entire fittings will be made public next week after Fanfest. So you will get to see what was on these ships, in case you were wondering, because you can't find kill mails anywhere. And because I control it, I can do what I want. So we saw a very strong showing from TQ there. They lost the shields of 1 Navitas.
Right.
That's not a lot to lose.
Right.
No, not at all. The Navitas is going to be a smaller sig radius, and I didn't see any damps being applied to the Navitas when the missiles are coming in. And a lot of times the missiles will require the target panner to expand the sig radius to do full damage. And without being able to do full damage from the Cerberuses, then they're not going to get anything down quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, hypothetically, the Cerberus Cinnable comp should be a Frig killer. I don't know if they zoomed in, but Rapid Lights or Heavies, either of those are most likely. I would say probably Rapid Light missiles. And the entire idea is that they do apply well on targets of low sig. But as you said, I mean, a Navitas going 3 KMS, it's an armor tank. It won't have shield mods that blow up your sig radius. So they're kind of hard to hit. The problem that they really had is they couldn't control where TQ went. Right. So they brought a Carries, which is a control ship. It's supposed to damp out the enemy team and force them into the range that you want. Or if they choose to stay safe at range, then they can't apply damage.
Exactly.
So what happened was, because the damps are divided across the TQ team, the Carries won the initial damp war. It has a higher scan res than the ships that had damps for TQ. So it's got its damps out. But then there were 4 other ships for TQ's team that counter-damped him and knocked him out. So there you have a really important control ship that was completely mitigated right from the beginning of the fight. That Carries pilot probably just took his hands off the mouse and was sitting there like that. Because there's nothing he can do. At that point, it's not a piloting decision. So that made it really tough, because the 2 Navitas could just sort of walk where they wanted. They could sit at max range apart from each other. They could kite out. They could come back in. I'm not saying their jobs were easy. Frigates are not my strong suit. But they did a really good job, and they didn't have as much pressure as Team Serenity would like to have applied to them.
So one of the questions that burns on my mind, is this sort of the evidence that the fact that Serenity seems to be struggling with logistics and the actual idea of logistics a lot.
Well, in fact,
that was the idea that was thrown around.
Right. And sort of, I think the reason that really makes sense, I guess, is that they had two comps with logistics.
Right.
No logistics frigs featured anywhere in there. They went classic Tech 2 logistics cruisers, which are really point heavy, and they become the core of that comp because you invest so much. Team TQ banned both of those. They were just like, we will not be having reps happening at any point during this tournament. So it really gives them no sustain. So you look at something like those Cerberus pilots, you've got an XLASB. After that, you have a loss in the second round.
Well, like I said in the first match, a lot of the Serenity setups are built around keeping range and staying away from the enemy.
Right.
And versus the Ishtars are going to be able to just protect damage with the drones.
Right.
They don't have to be within a certain optimal range.
Right.
I mean, as long as they're in drone control range, they can tell those drones to go attack.
Right. And yeah, I mean, that's part of what's surprising about the Ishtar comp having, or what's not surprising, I should say, about the Ishtar comp having come out first. Pretty much everyone on TQ, you've mostly flown Ishtars at some point. Somebody has, right? I hear they're pretty popular.
Quite a little bit lately.
Yeah. So it's a really popular choice for the tournament exactly because of that. You can use sentries to project damage all the way across the field. You can set out drones. You can either have omnis or you can just use the Hull's bonus of speed for drones, and they'll chase down frigates and pop them. So really, it's the comp for people who either A, want to grind out structures, which we won't do for much longer, or B, if you want to like win a fight, but you also want to go make coffee in the middle, you pick an Ishtar, you drop your drones, you hit F, and you go make your coffee.
That's very interesting because recently CCP Rise showed that he doesn't like popular things, and the Ishtar got hit in the head with something. Speaking of, he and Svenne, CCP Guard, have just found somebody popular, and I wonder what they're going to do to him. Yes, you can applaud.
Hey.
ETV guys, yeah!
Whoa, 1-1. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So we were thinking of talking to CCP Leo. CCP Leo is over there. He's not listening to me, so I'm going to go and fetch him. CCP Leo. Hey. Do you want to come over and have a small word with us? This man,
So confident.
This man, who is very focused, he works out of our Shanghai office, and he has been spending a lot of time with the Serenity champions, and he has been helping out, translating, and watching them in action. Right?
Yeah, that's what I do.
And you guys have been going all around Iceland. How has that been? You went on some trips and all kinds of things.
Definitely, it was amazing. Like Golden Circle, like the solar thing, like well, everything is amazing. They really enjoyed it. Yeah.
First time in Iceland for everybody, but let's talk about the preparation of this team. These guys are extremely focused and have a big prize to bring home. So you've been following them in practice. What kind of preparation have they been doing before this? I mean, what have they been preparing for a long time?
Yeah, definitely. Well, they have been watching all the videos from the opponent's team, and they brought several laptops here. They even practiced a lot in the hotel, you know. Yeah, and they argue a lot. It was so hard over there, really. Yeah, I was there.
What do they mainly argue about? Can you, maybe without giving out away any tactical details?
Well, I really can't say. You know?
Yeah. Well, worth a try. It's worth a try. Yeah.
I'm curious, like what they think of their competition, like what they think of their chances.
They think they are likely to win. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, you know, I know they got blapped pretty quick last match, but it was probably just warming up. So I have a lot of faith in the City of Angels, guys. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
so,
too.
Thank you for talking with us. We're gonna let you go back to talking to them and get off the stage and pass it back on. And we look forward to the next match.
Yeah. Let's come back to hearing us talk. I love talking. So one thing that seems to, a trend that seems to be creeping up is that CCPers tend to favor Serenity because of some ironic reason. We want Serenity to win.
Yeah, I thought it was like a devil's advocate thing, but now I have a sort of conspiracy theory forming that you guys all have accounts on Serenity that you can play on.
No, what?
I'm just saying. If you
don't
want to
start
hashtag
lies.
conspiracy on that one. Okay, anyways, back to you. Just a thought.
I would rather call it that we're just as horrible people as you are.
Wait a minute. I'm an upstanding New Eden citizen. I don't know.
Well, then I'm a worse person than you are.
No, but I at first when CCP Rise said that to me, I was like, this doesn't surprise me. I knew you would be going against the grain, and now I'm a little bit jealous that I wasn't. I can't pull the hipster. I was cheering for Serenity before you were, before it was cool.
Yeah.
Because after this, it will be cool, especially in this next match. especially if they bring the Widow comp. I think no matter how they win, if they win and they don't use the Widow comp, in my mind it's a loss, because I really want to see that Widow comp come out.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing, because the Widow comp seems to be what everybody on TQ wants to see, but if they don't bring it, what are you going to do? Be really sad about it?
Well, no, that's the thing. At this point, I'm not so sure that I won't be a little bit secretly sad no matter how this ends, because I really like Serenity. But by the same token, if I were to cheer for Serenity, legitimately cheer for Serenity, I couldn't look my court members in the audience in the face after this. So it's tough. It's an emotional battle.
So both teams have now only got 4 setups left, seeming as they've both won 1 match. What can we expect from Camel now?
I'm not sure. They could bring out, another strong comp and then cement their victory. Or alternatively, they might choose one of the weaker comps and then maybe just finish strong.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit while Eve TV was over there on the side about the fact that it's surprising that you would go with the same comp as they talked about. There was
Yes, shut up. The match is on. Let's give it up for match number 3!
All right. All right, there we go. We've got 15 seconds left before the match starts. From the Tranquility team, they have brought their Damnation Confessor setup. Damnation and Nero's smallest double Confessor.
And from the Serenity guys, we do have the same setup that you saw in the last match. You have the double Cerberuses, Cinnable carries, and the Malediction. So you are going to have the carries, dams again, and the Malediction for tackle.
Yep. All right. Both teams came in at 50 kilometers from opposite beacons, so they're quite a ways away from each other. It's going to be difficult for damage to get applied from the Damnation, but those Confessors are fast. Malediction already taking tons of damage for the Serenity team. Already through shields, it looks like we've got the beams from those Confessors hitting all the way halfway across the field there.
Yeah, you can tell they are branded by the red lasers coming from the Confessors. That means they are using the Tech 2 long-range ammo from the Aurora.
Yeah, Confessors, excellent for killing machines at great range, make excellent snipers. The Malediction has gotten transversal up now. He's actually reduced the incoming damage quite a bit. His armor rep is actually starting to keep up with it. Now we need to see if, unlike the last match, whether or not City of Angels from Serenity will be able to apply significant damage. We don't see yet.
Wow, he's down. First Malediction down.
We don't see yet any damage being applied. Well, real reason for that, I imagine, lots of damps. Look at those damps. We have damps on the Cerberuses, the carries. There we go.
Here goes the Confessor. As
I say that.
Yes. Wow.
Oh, he's there. Wow. We have a Confessor down. Wow. All right, the Cerberus, the first Cerberus of Ask is taking damage now, but a Confessor going down, and now a Mollusk coming under fire right away. It's going to be a real challenge. If they can't keep that Mollusk up, then those Cerberus are going to be able to start applying all their damage.
They're going to... Mollusk down, has down. That is a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage down.
There's tackle on the Cerberuses. That's going to slow them down quite a bit. Confessor number 2 under fire.
They're going to lose their damage so quickly. Once this Confessor's down, they're going to lose so much damage.
That Damnation won't be able to keep up. It won't be able to range them. This is incredible. We are seeing the second Confessor already taking tons of damage. All right, he is actually holding some reps now. Just so you know, that's a ham Damnation.
Wow.
Lots of damage actually, but very close range. It's going to have a hard time if it loses Confessor support.
Right. So you do have the Cerberuses. They are pretty hard tackled. You have a Scrambler on one and the Web on the other, and it looks like the Cerberus is falling into low shields. The extra large ASB is going to be cycling, and once it runs out of charges, he's going to have to either turn it off or run off his cap, and the extra large ASB sucks a lot of cap.
Yep, the Neros for the Tranquility team does have rep drones out on the Confessor, helping keep him alive, but the Neros is now under fire. He had to burn in really close because of the damps, and now he's on top of the Cerberuses and the Cynaball. All right, that Cerberus still tanking, but his ASB won't last him forever. It's only a matter of time now before he goes down. The Serenity guys need to knock down the DPS, and to do that, it looks like they're going to try to take down the Neros first.
Right, it does look like they are using rapid lights on these Cerberuses, so you're going to run into, I think what you're seeing right now is a reload cycle on the rapid lights. That's a long time that they're not going to have damage, and the issue is with these shield boosters, once they run out of charges, they're not going to be able to keep this Cerber alive.
So it's actually interesting that first Confessor went down so quickly. It actually may have been a situation where he had just switched modes, couldn't get back into defensive in time.
Right.
All the alpha and all the quick damage from the rapid lights, and was able to burn through it. Because the second one is tanked amazingly well. Yeah. And so is that Neros. That Neros is tanking with a local armor repper extremely well, and probably some rep drones on him as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
And that Cerberus is all the way through low armor now.
Into structure, guys. Into structure.
Cerberus is getting structure, but the
Let's go,
Aneros
guys.
is
Almost down.
also in
Halfway,
low
guys.
armor. Oh, wow. All right, Cerberus down.
So, ow. Down.
The second Cerberus is now already tackled, and those are huge reps coming up on that Aneros. He is repping big chunks.
Yeah, he does have a flight of light rep drones on him. So while this Thunderous is repping himself, he is repping the...
No, the rep drones are on the Confessor, actually.
Yeah,
that Aneros is doing the repping all by itself. That is a big local tank. And that
is a single
Aneros
active rep.
Going to basically hero tank this team, it looks like. That second Cerberus already into low shield. He needs to get his shield booster going.
Yeah.
And Serenity is going to have a hard time killing anything now. They need to pull something else out.
They were able to get the Mollusk off the field, so that was able to give them damp superiority, but without the range. Wow, there he goes. He's dipping so quickly. Wow.
That Cerberus is about area.
Yes, it's so well. The other Cerberus held on for so much longer than the current one.
I think part of the problem was the second Cerberus.
Wow, that was quick.
Carry's already gone. The second Cerberus was already within range of the damnation. He was able to apply his hams on it right away. And now it's actually going to probably just be a cleanup to try to knock down the Cynaball. He's going to have a very hard time. The only way the Cynaball can win here is to take down the Damnation. I really don't think that's going to be an option. Damnation is known for a pretty incredible
there's a
tank.
chance.
There is a chance. There's always a chance. The hero level of this Cynaball is going to have to be like a 9.5, though. I think we've officially reached the 9.5. What are the... so we got
EC drones. That's actually really interesting.
ECM drones from the Camel Empire Tranquility team applied to that Cynaball. That probably really helped them reduce the DPS and keep that Neros alive.
The Neros and the second Confessor. That's why I saw a lot of reduced DPS as well as a reload cycle. And what you're going to see here is what I'm hoping for is the Cynaball is going to drag the Damnation away from the fight, and he's going to kill him by himself before the reps can get in range. That's the prediction there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he needs to take down the Damnation and the Aneros. Yeah. But we'll see how well that works.
So he did just get a volley off onto the Confessor, so I believe he might actually be artillery fit.
No, that's an autocannon.
Yeah, he is autocannon, actually.
Yeah, it is an autocannon Cynaball.
425 millimeter autocannon Cynaball.
Yeah. And now he's got a Confessor right on top of him. Yep. The Confessor doing great work in this match. Both teams have Confessors in some of their setups. This one's sitting in defensive mode right now. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I think you must be right that the other Confessor was in sharpshooter mode when he got primaried, because they were going for those frigates right off the bat, and the sharpshooter mode does give a much-needed tracking bonus to the beam lasers.
A range bonus, actually.
Range bonus.
The one of the course downsides of these tactical destroyers is that you can only switch modes once every 10 seconds. So if he had, for instance, just switched from speed to sharpshooter mode or back, wasn't able to get into tank mode in time, defensive mode, that would explain why he went down so quickly, which definitely made the match very exciting. But this is still a very strong showing from the Camel Empire and Tranquility.
Yeah, so this symbol is trying to get away. He has newts being applied to the Confessor, while the Confessor holds him down for the Damnation to get into range and bring the pain.
Yeah. Those newts, it's actually interesting that those newts, we weren't seeing them applied for so much of the match. I think they just had those ECM drones on the Cynaball the whole time. Good choice. Cynaball does a lot of damage, has the newts, and has lower sensor strength than the Cerberuses.
Right.
So it's going to be the best choice for it. That newt is something that could have had a pretty big, assuming that's a medium newt, putting that onto a active tank, you'd probably a dual rep Aneros.
Oh, wow, there he goes. Yep. The end.
And so with that victory,
it is now 2-1.
Yeah, it is now 2-1.
2-1 TQ.
Has the lead for the first time in this tournament, and Serenity's back is up against the wall. They must win the next two matches if they want to take this Worlds Collide tournament.
All right.
So, what we just witnessed there was the death of the first Confessor, and I had a pun ready that now the Confessor had a 100% loss rate in tournaments, and you obviously shouldn't bring them because they just lose. But you guys were talking the entire time about how certain you were this was over, and I think you said it 8 times.
Yeah, I don't learn from my mistakes. So during that match, the match starts. There's a Mollusk on the Camel side, which they know how to use. Damps are your all's bread and butter, if I may be so bold. And that Mollusk landed its damps perfectly, and there was an ECM icon there by the Cynaball. So I didn't think about drones. I thought maybe there was a weird.
I think there's ECM drones on the Cynaball.
Yeah, and so immediately, just as we were talking about, the damps force people into the type of fight that you want to take. And I thought, it's done. The Mollusk has done his job, excellent piloting. And then suddenly a Confessor just
boom,
evaporates.
Headshot. Boom, headshot.
Like, so you remember that thing that I said I shouldn't do? I just did it again, where I thought, I told Gargan, I said, it's done. Like, the damps are on, it's done.
I was sitting here and I was thinking, oh, it's going to be 2-1 Serenity.
Right,
After that Confessor went down, after that Mollusk went down, I was thinking, wow, how can Camel recover from this? And unbelievably, they managed to trade a Serb for both those ships.
Right.
Meaning they're up in points. And then somehow they managed to kill the rest of the team. And it just totally turned the match. I thought for sure Camel were going to lose that fight.
And the great thing about that match is even the Confessors showed their strength, basically. They were clearly switching modes. They switched into speed mode to catch up with the Cerberuses. They were scram web fit. They have really nice armor resistant defense mode. That first one probably died as he was really committing to get the tackle on a primary. Went out, didn't have time to switch into defensive mode, and down he went. So no fault of the Oneros pilots, really, unless there were some sort of indicators that was going to happen.
But I still, since you say fault and Oneros pilot, I want to say all of the work and none of the glory to the logistics pilot, the Proneros. That was an amazing showing of how to correctly logistic your ship, your team.
And Oneros is a ship that just on TQ or in a tournament setting can be fit totally differently.
Yeah.
So if you take your Alliance tournament Oneros to your local pubby fleet, people are going to look at you like you're on some really potent hallucinogens because that is not how you're supposed to fit it. So there are all these different options, and the problem is for a team like Serenity, they had their back against the wall. They either had to commit to the Oneros thinking they could kill it and gain the upper hand, or they had to say, I bet that Oneros is probably a little tanky, and they didn't go for it. And by the time that they did switch to him, it was their only good option. And unfortunately for them, the Oneros was really well piloted, and the tank was really well managed. So
one of the things that's readily apparent, though, watching these matches so far, is both teams are executing absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah.
The skill cap for both teams, seems to be very high, and both teams seem to be very good at how they're doing.
So what happens now is that what happens in every single op ever, there's a 2-minute bio break in the middle of an op. But that's fine, because we have plenty to talk about, and we have voices for days. And on the sidelines there, CC Picard, is ready with more Eve TV action.
Yeah! Damn. It's really on now. Serenity really have to kick it into the next gear if they want to pull this off. Yeah. Yeah. So with me here is Chesser, who is very familiar with the Camel Empire team, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that. But you had some thoughts on the use of the Confessor in that last match. It was they're interesting ships, right?
Yeah, no. Confessors are actually really, really interesting. I had the opportunity to practice with Camel really frequently, and we've been practicing for a long time. And I fly Confessors on TQ a lot, so I was naturally the pilot picked for the enemy team, and I flew Confessors. So it's actually really interesting just learning the 3 different modes, having them on hotkeys. Especially in the RLML types of setups that you just saw the Chinese team running. The Cerberus, super great range. Learning to anticipate the missiles coming after you once you see the red box, and trying to switch to defensive mode while coasting into the range of a Logi ship is really important. And little things like that just make the ship really deep compared to any other ship in the game, and I really enjoy flying them just because of that added bonus. But it definitely takes a lot of practice, and so if you get it wrong, you just poof in dust. So it makes it cool.
It's that's some very high level stuff there, and those ships are really good for it. For me, PvP is press orbit and press F1, and then everybody dies, of course. No. But
frigates make it easy.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I was just wondering, now that the next victory will determine what happens, who wants TQ to win? And we asked before, but now it's serious, So who wants Serenity to win? Looks pretty evenly matched. We wanted to do a little experiment, see if you guys have been paying attention to the camel propaganda, the camel war cry. Can we get a camel war cry? Wow, that was beautiful, I guess. But all right, so just some stuff about like, cause this is very interesting. I was talking to the Camel team earlier, and they were telling me about their preparation. They did some pretty deep stuff for that. Tell me, like, what kind of level do you take the preparation for fighting a team like
So I've flown in multiple ATs and NEOs before. I was lucky enough to fly with some of the guys that they invited me to fly with Camel and MEEF, mining industry. And before I thought I was pretty hardcore, but the German efficiency and the level that it has taken on the Camel team is insane. Months of practice, Skype channels, you leave for work and you come back 8 hours later, like 500 messages in your Skype group or, mails. It is insane. Like I was blown away, like super impressed because I'd never experienced anything like it on that level. Practices are strictly regimented. People are starting like 5 minutes after practice and we have set comp lists that we run. So, as like I said, lucky enough that I was invited to play, being a practice partner, all the matches that you're seeing, I've played as Serenity players. We as soon as we got their setups, we took them all, we digested them, we tried to make the best comps that we could to fight our comps. So like the Fleet Typhoon matches, for example, I've been flying that Fleet Typhoon, definitely not with a structure tank, but I've definitely been flying it, trying to catch EOS, trying to catch, confessors, stuff like that, and just to see it played out again for real, it's a really kind of an interesting thing. You get all to see like the fruits of your labor and like the Camel team just playing really, really well. It's really cool to finally see, but like the preparation level is intense. I can only imagine what the Serenity team has going on. It'd kind of be interesting to see if they have something quite similar, but from their performance so far today, which has been really neck and neck, my guess is they've been probably doing this for a few months as well.
Yep, they've definitely been putting in a lot of work. I've heard talk from these teams about translation of forum posts, all kinds of stuff like that. Really digging through the kill board, seeing what people fly and how it works for them on TQ and trying to take it from there. So really, really hardcore meta stuff people do to prepare.
Yeah, it's insane. Like there are people on our team that really don't fly that much, but just sit behind basically EFT and just go crazy with numbers. It's amazing to me. It's amazing. Yeah.
So what would you say, just finally before we go, if people are more familiar with like traditional TQ, unregulated PvP where people just get blobbed and all that stuff, how do you get into this sort of PvP, this sort of structured PvP?
Inside tournament PvP? Yeah. So, that's the thing that, me and I know a lot of the people in Camel really want to try and push for is more arranged PvP, more tournaments types of flying. The issue is really the Alliance tournament is the only thing that you can fly for, and if you're interested in it, I highly suggest taking an interest. Watch some of the older YouTube videos. If you get a chance, maybe you and your friends, or maybe join up with an alliance that is doing it. Even if you can't play an AT, just signing up to be a practice partner, say, hey, you need 12 guys and another 12 to fight against them, I'd like to be that guy. Just to start there and to, see if you like that type of playing or not. It's way different than Tranquility, a lot more variables that you can control, a lot more variables that you can digest. So in that aspect, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good yeah, it's good. If you're a sparring partner in boxing, get brain damage. This is mostly carpal tunnel syndrome at most. So this is not, it's safe. It's safe. It's good.
Minus carpal tunnel, you're pretty much good to go.
But we're going to pass it back over to the desk. The next match should be starting soon. Thank you for talking to us, Cheshire.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, and let's see what happens.
So it's starting to look like you guys are in the clear and Tranquility is going to take it, but I wouldn't rest easy yet. There's still
up one match, and that you're making that prediction already.
CSpeak already just announced it as the last match, but
I
wouldn't be so sure. I would not be so sure.
If everything falls apart, he's the one that jinxed it. It's his fault. Yeah.
Come at me, bros.
Yeah. No, I will say, if Serenity wins, I'm totally up for us doing a dev caravan in the prize ship that people won't be able to fly just to show it off, so you guys can all see it at least.
Announced right here live at Worlds Collide. If you guys lose, we're gonna flaunt it in your face.
In true fashion.
Yeah.
So, 3 matches in, 2-1 for Tranquility. How are you guys liking this event so far? It's fun. It's fun to come together. Look at that big room of pretty faces. It's fun to come together and enjoy a match of your favorite game. We all know this is your favorite game, because otherwise you wouldn't be in Iceland. But come here together, watch 2 fantastic teams lead together 2 different metas to fight in a tournament that has all of the bundled technical problems we're used to. It's great. I'm very excited. I'm stoked. Is the word.
I can't wait to see what the teams bring next. I mean, we now have a couple of eliminated setups from both teams, and it's. Yeah, I really don't know.
I'm still holding out for the Widow team.
Yeah, the Widow team. I mean, the Widow team, a lot of people were predicting was going to be one of the really strong setups from Serenity. A lot of people I saw predicting that the TQ guys would ban it, but they didn't, which obviously means they think they have a counter for it, but I think they probably thought they had a counter for the Typhoons as well, so who knows. So it'll be really interesting to see whether that setup actually shows up this tournament.
Yeah, well, TQ's done a really good job so far in spreading their E-War across multiple ships, whereas the Serenity team has done a lot of setups where their E-War is on that one carries or that one Merlin or whatever ship they have it on, and that's what's causing them issues right now. Is instead of spreading the E-War across the field, all the other ships from TQ are damping their one E-War ship, and that's they're losing the control war.
Yeah, these control wars where you have the small ships locking fast, damping, they are a huge part of the Alliance tournament. We see a lot of teams making really good use of them. We also see teams very crucially making sure they have ships in their setups that can deal with E-War ships very effectively, these fast lockers especially. The Heretic is one that we've seen Camel Empire use to great effect in the last Alliance tournament. They do have a Heretic setup in this, submitted. Don't know whether we'll see them bring it. The Confessors played a very similar part. It is going to be really great to see how these teams deal with that E-War meta, because right now the E-War battle is being won by Camel.
Yeah, and so for some people that don't know, is in the tournament meta, you have your standard EVE Online fits when it comes to PvP typically, but when you look at the Merlin, you see 4 mid slots, and you're like, how much E-War can I shove onto the ship? And it's like that for every single ship. And you look at the point value and how much you can fit on that one ship to do in the tournament environment.
When you are fighting 5 against 5, you will want to equip yourself in such a way that you will make your opponent want to kill themselves. And that's what E-War does, I've heard.
E-War can be very frustrating to fight against, but in the tournament with a very small group, it's great because you actually have a lot of options for dealing with it. Good teams will do things like they'll get damps. The one that loses it will then burn away to get out of lock range of the opposing ship, even though he's not damped, then burn back in. You actually have essentially an ongoing damp duel going on between the small ships. And it's the kind of battle that it's hard to see sometimes when you're watching the match, but is intense, incredibly intense for the people flying it. You have to manage the cap because you're running your MWD a lot when you do this kind of duel. It's something that takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice.
Yeah. I would say so.
When you talk about the mid slots, one of the things we announced today in the ship and module balancing presentation is that we're currently planning on giving the Jackdaw, the Caldari Tech 3 destroyer, the next Tech 3 destroyer to be introduced, 6 mid slots.
I did see that slide, and I'm actually really happy that the Caldari Tech 3 will be missile based. I'm pretty pumped.
I'm imagining that's going to have a lot of applications in the tournament.
Missiles are my favorite weapons.
Yes.
That's because I'm a huge that shaped object. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, missiles are really effective. We're seeing a lot of popularity from light missiles, rapid lights. These that can apply very effectively against targets at long range, even small targets. They do a lot of things really well. They're really great. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're bringing more.
You can take advantage of speed, though this destroyer won't be able to go quite as fast as some of the others. But
well, and missiles are typically pretty effective at killing frigates, which TQ is full of frigates right now.
Yep. Yeah, it's really great to bring something out that can take on frigs and then go rampaging.
Yeah.
I can see that the players are already in local, so it looks like we are on to our 4th match very soon. They still have to land on grid, though. But I want to go again. Who wants to see Tranquility take it and give you fancy ships? And who would like to see Serenity surprise us one more time and bring this best of 5 to the final match? There we go. That's the enthusiasm I want.
All right, both teams, it looks like, have now landed on the field, so we can't be too far away from the match starting. I'm looking forward to seeing. I can't really see exactly what they've got.
I think our producer should just cut us off when we're ready.
Yeah.
Yep. 20 seconds.
All right, let's pass it over to the commentators.
All right, hopefully we're mic'd up here. We hear strategy talk up on the stage. This should be good. So, Serenity has fielded a rather unusual comp of 2 Hyperions, a Caracal, a Rifter, and a Stiletto. I'm not sure about this.
Camel's got their 30 Phobos Heretic Execura comp. So 2 potentially close-range brawling comps here. We're going to see what's going on.
Well, I feel like the Hyperion is just a strange choice, and immediately they're going for Bitter in the Hyperion. He's already taking shield damage. Hopefully he's armor tanked. If there's bulkheads on this, I'm going to start cheering for them again.
Yeah, the Hyperion's worked in at 0 and are immediately approaching the Camel team. Camel worked in at max range. It does look like it is railguns on those starters, though. Well, the Hyperion's taking huge chunks of damage, though.
Yeah, and Camel is doing a really great job. They're really nicely clustered. They're drifting in a singular direction pretty comfortably away from these Hyperions. And that Hyperion is only going, he's going about 1,000 MS, but he's never going to catch this Camel team.
That Hyperion is not tanking reps. That's 1 rep cycle there, but he is not tanking very well. He just activated them now. Let's see if he can tank the overall damage of the Tranquility team.
So for a Hyperion in a setting like this, he could be dual rep, he could be an ancillary rep fit. There's a lot of options, but either way, neither of them should put you that low into armor this early in the match.
I think he is dual rep, but he just isn't tanking.
Yeah.
Maybe he's heating his tank now, maybe he is tanking a little bit more, maybe he's bait tanking.
So Team TQ has realized the danger that these tackle crits pose.
Taking damage there.
All right.
I think the Heretics are applying a lot of damage to that Stiletto and are taking him out. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Stiletto down.
Well, and Team TQ has to get rid of those frigates, because if those frigates tackle their Heretics and put them slow enough for damage to apply, that's really dangerous. So if this Rifter gets anywhere near these Heretics, he's going to suffer the same
that
fate.
Rifter going in and immediately getting headshotted by those Heretics.
All right, so not only was I right for the first time in this tournament about something that was about to happen, but we're also looking pretty comfortable on Team TQ. So this Hyperion has pulled back, the damage has come off of him, but it wasn't looking great beforehand. They'd really like to kill this Caracal. The Caracal's already taking shield damage, it's a matter of time. And then if Serenity managed to tackle anything with 2 Hyperions, I'll be really impressed. I think it's looking very, very grim for them, but I won't commit to any definites at this point.
Yeah, essentially it's looking as if Team TQ might have this, barring a boundary violation or basically a Heretic or an Astarte flying straight into Hyperion.
It is very important to mention that they can fit an MJD on that Astarte.
Yeah.
So if they go that route, it's possible. But other than that, this Hyperion is really stretching his tank. It looked like he was overheating earlier. I mean, when you're that low is the time to overheat, so he's got a finite amount of time. It might be the case that he can tank them, but even if he does, at this point, Team TQ is so far ahead that they just have to pilot competently, watch out for that Caracal to come in. If they do that effectively, it doesn't look like it's going to matter. This Hyperion is really sweating. Whoever...
Yeah, that Hyperion's getting really low now. He may be having an AR that's out of pace now, and he just can't tank all the damage from Team Tranquility. He has taken slow slivers of structure damage now. He's tanking in very, very low armor. Still not much damage being applied to the Team TQ team, though. Team Serenity does look as if they're in quite a bit of trouble.
And again, against a team like Camel Empire, or TQ as they are today, they love control setups. I mean, there's E-War on every spare mid slot in their entire comp, really. And that's been true since the very first match. To take something slow with low range like a Hyperion is a really odd choice to me, and I think they're paying for it here. These Hypes just can't get in to do any damage.
Yeah, that Hype's still struggling in low armor. He has taken huge slivers of structure damage. It doesn't look like he's going to last much longer, I'm afraid. Still no damage applied to the Camel Empire team. They're kiting effectively, applying damage with railguns and light missiles.
Yeah. But I'm not hearing any shouting coming from the Serenity team right now, so maybe they have some backup plan. And this Hyperion is still holding, so I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe they're trying to all-in this Caracal. I think it's unnecessary, but at this point, it seems like it's just a slow grind into that first Hyperion dying. And when that happens, things get even more comfortable than they are now.
One of those Hyperions is getting rather close to the Phobos of Camel Empire.
There was actually a cycle of Newt applied to that Phobos.
Yeah, there was Newt on the Phobos for a while, but it does look like that Phobos is breaking away now. That Hyperion is stabilized.
Yeah.
So that Hyperion is stabilized, and maybe, he just disappeared. The Hyperion just boundary violated. Hyperion just boundary violated.
All right, so things like these happen. We should just be supportive at times like this, because they're really tough.
It looks like the Executor on the Team Tranquility team baited that Hyperion into going over the edge of glory.
He is way out, yeah, he is way out. So potentially good piloting, or potentially he just had that moment of like, oh my god, the edge of the boundary sooner.
That was a moment of genius from the Team Tranquility.
I would say that was probably a very active decision and some really high-level tournament-style piloting. That was really impressive if he did set that up. But either way, they're still in a really comfortable spot. All those pilots have piloted smartly. They're not getting into new range of that Hyperion and risking getting caught. And just as I say that, Eshnala and the Heretic took a big chunk of shield damage. I don't know from what. Are there drones near him? Or
it looks like it's from the Caracal. It
okay,
does
so
look like Caracal's
the
wrapping like missile launcher
is,
fit.
so he is going on the offensive, and if he's not careful, and he does get tackled by this Phobos, by the Astarte, it could be pretty grim. So this Eshnala is pulling back, which is really nice, and he's pretty comfortable at this point. I'm surprised that Caracal can even apply. They have no damps on him now, but they do have him painted, and he is taking pretty substantial shield damage.
Yeah, that Caracal's taking quite a lot of damage as well. It's important to note, no logistics on the Team Serenity side at the moment,
Right.
so he won't receive any kind of reps. Once he's out of shield, he will drop into armor and structure very quickly, and he will disappear. Eshnala is taking armor damage now, though.
However, they do have a logistics hull. They've got this Executor to rep him back up. Should be pretty comfortable. Really nice resist profile on the Heretic right out of the gate. So
Caracal took huge armor chunks there,
Yeah.
on the structure, and he's down.
And here he goes. Here he goes. That's number 4 down. Yeah. All right, so a really impressive showing. Stranger things have happened than this Hyperion taking this match by himself, but I see it as probably being unlikely. Really, really well piloted, patiently piloted by the TQ team. They stayed in damage range the entire time. They didn't drift too far out. Those Heretics did some awesome work to clear out the frigates early. They kept the rest of the comp safe. They did exactly what they expected to do going into that, and that was beautiful. And
Yeah, essentially, I think this is probably decided before the comps hit the field here.
yeah, absolutely. I just wonder. I wonder where Serenity finds the strength in the Hyperion. Obviously, the tank is great. The active tanking bonus is massive, but it doesn't matter if you can tank. You also have to apply damage. And this second Hyperion is going down even faster.
Yeah, he's
than
not
the
even
first.
repping anymore. Well, big, as I say, that big chunk of
Yeah,
armor
and
rep
so
there.
yeah, he will get chunked through, I think. But again, it's a strange comp. It's probably not one I expect them to field again in the next match.
But it's important to note, once this Hyperion dies, or time is called, Team Tranquility will win Worlds Collide.
Oh, that's right. Important fact. So it's been a long few days in Reykjavik. All right, so here he goes. Last one, that's it.
Count
So,
wins.
well done.
Yachts for everyone.
Fantastic. All right, awesome.
Passing over to this.
Oh my goodness. The applause, fantastic. Really well done.
And
amazing performances by both of these two teams. With that match, Tranquility, the Camel Empire, wins our first ever Worlds Collide and has earned the Tranquility server, every single subscriber on the Tranquility server, one of the new luxury yachts.
That was pretty awesome.
so I would like, before everybody leaves, I would like to get Serenity out here. Come along, guys.
Come on out, guys.
They surprised all of us. They managed to put up a really good fight. And we wanted to give them earplugs as the runner-up prize. Sorry. Here we go. We are very thankful for them traveling all the way from China just to compete in EVE Online. Let's give them another good applause. Team Serenity, the City of Angels. And now, I want to welcome our winners to the stage. You guys are free to go. I want to welcome Camel Empire to the stage. Come on, the winners of Worlds Collide. I think we should do one victory roar. What do you think?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Very well done, guys. We also have something for you. If the lovely CCP Lilo would wheel it out here, because it's a lot of stuff. Sure, sure, Tranquility gets a fancy new ship, but who cares about that? They all get a cart full of goods from Razer. Tranquility, you're champions. Now, I want to thank our commentators, CCP Fossi, Bob Shaftos, Sir Squeeples, Lazarus Telraven. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. You're all experts. You've proven that.
No.
Give them a round of applause, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, I just wanted to say that I'm proud of you for having given the Serenity team a great welcome to Iceland, to the home court. Really cool. You're awesome. I love you.
Now, there's going to be some live streaming going on from the PvP room in a few minutes, I think, 10 or 20 minutes or so. For you others, get out and get something to eat. I hear we're going out to celebrate tonight.
One final thing. This is the end of the EVE TV broadcast. For those at home, thank you for watching. We'll start again tomorrow for the final day of Fanfest. For the rest of you, try to be good tonight, or sufficiently good. Yeah, thank you, and good night.